Tolerance is the ability to unconditionally accept self and perceived other beings out there. No matter what the circumstances, no matter what the situation, no matter whether we agree or disagree with those other beings, no matter whether we condone their actions or not. Tolerance is the ability to hold space for self and others unconditionally. Unconditional love and unconditional acceptance. Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me today for this energy activation, intuitive reflection, whatever you would like to label it. This is a conversation heart to heart and consciousness to consciousness. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate you taking the time. Today I would like to speak about tolerance. I had initially wanted to make a video and speak about judgment, bias, discrimination. I had already spoken about these topics in various other videos as a side note. And I felt that it needed a little bit more details. However, it also has what bodies, beings, minds perceive as a negative connotation. So I felt it more beneficial to speak about tolerance, which encompasses discrimination, judgment, bias, and all these things. Yes, it's basically two sides of the same coin. If we're not tolerant, that's when we deal with judgment and bias and discrimination and all these other things that perceivedly go on in this supposedly external reality that we create, whether we are aware of it or not. So in the end, it comes down to, what are we judging? We are judging our own creation, whether we're aware of it or not. But it is still our own creation. Yes. So intolerance, or the lack of tolerance, stems from fear, which is very simple, connected to mainly the root chakra. It's lack of stability, lack of a safe, secure foundation, lack of roots, feeling uprooted. And that then makes room for fear to come in, which is produced by the mind, because without the mind and the thoughts and the memories that we hold, there is no fear. Yes, once we leave this physical body, or apparent physical body, there is no more fear, because we instantly recognize and realize what we are, which is all that is, or whatever you would like to label it, all that is and all that is not. We are the one and the zero. We are the alpha and the omega. We are the beginning and the end at the same time. Time does not exist. So everything happens at once. Yes? Once we can comprehend that, internalize that, we have more awareness for self, more acceptance and more tolerance, because tolerance is truly acceptance and the ability to hold space for other beings. Yes? And for self. Not just for, because really there is only one consciousness playing out all varieties of different roles. Yes? So we are that other being that we may be discriminating against or that we may be judging. Yes. So every judgment we put out there will reflect back to us as judgment, because we are judging ourselves. And I mentioned that before. It is helpful to understand that the variety that we see here in our perceived external world has been created by us, which is the light of awareness, the energy consciousness, whatever you would like to call it, creator, source, the universe, God, spirit. Yes? There are so many different labels and so many different names, and none of them can actually accurately describe what this truly is. Yes? Because words are very limiting, and there really is no good description that the mind can comprehend. Yes, because initially this is infinity we're talking about. Yes, and the physical body, even though it is part of this creation of consciousness, yes, is perceivedly limited, is finite. Yes, in this play of consciousness, the physical body will eventually pass, but the light of awareness, energy, consciousness, God, creator, source, spirit, the universe, is infinite. Infinity. Infinity is not comprehensible with the human mind, with the human brain. Yes? Because that would mean finite can comprehend infinity, and it cannot. Yes? It can comprehend maybe concepts of it, but a concept is still an idea of the mind. Yes? So in order to have the awareness and the tolerance and acceptance that it takes to create from the heart, to manifest from the heart, yes, it really takes to have a look within, because it starts with self. Because everything we perceive to be out there is a reflection of our output, our energetical output, our frequency, or whatever you want to label it. Yes, whatever we put out there and whatever we put our focus on is what we are creating, and then will reflect back to us. Yes? So if we're putting a lot of bias, judgment, discrimination out there, it will reflect back to us as the perceived outside world, other perceived beings judging us, discriminating against us, against the physical body. Yes, it will be the experience we are creating for ourselves, for this physical body, if we are putting energies of judgment, bias, discrimination, etc. out there. Yes. It also helps to understand, comprehend, if you would like to call it that, that the external is a mirror reflection of our internal state. That's why many different physical bodies have many different perceptions and perspectives of this supposedly external reality, because the physical body is the manifestation tool to create the external reality, what we call the world. Yes, and depending on whatever state or condition the physical body is in, depending on the beliefs, memories, stories we hold, yes, our output might be distorted, and then the reflection that comes back to us is also distorted. Yes, so it also helps to understand that the reality we're perceiving out there, the so-called world, has a variety of different layers. Yes, And all these different layers within layers within layers are the result of one consciousness, one light of awareness. We are the light, yes? It's the light of awareness. It's the perceived light, playing out different roles to be able to have experiences and perspectives from all kinds of different angles, yes? But it is still just one consciousness playing out all these different roles. That's why whenever we judge perceived other beings out there, we judge ourselves, because it is still that same consciousness playing various sides of the coin, yes? What we call as good and evil, or dark and light, it is one consciousness operating all different varieties and sides, yes? In order to gain perspective and perception of consciousness. You can liken that to your face. You can look at your hands, you can look at your legs, you can look at your body, but you cannot look at your face because the eyes obviously are here, yes? If we go with that example. And consciousness cannot look at itself, if you so want. It needs to have that mirror reflection of the projection of consciousness in order to recognize itself, yes? Because if there's only light and no darkness, you don't recognize the light. There is only light with darkness. There is only sound with silence. Yes? Otherwise, it's not recognizable. That's what the game is that consciousness is playing here, if you want to call it that. Yes? And this perceived game of consciousness, it's a play of light and dark and all shades of gray in between. You can only see colors with the light and darkness, yes? Otherwise there are no colors. And this game has a variety of different layers. So in that sense, every body, being, energy, whatever it is out there, is part of this game of consciousness. Yes? It's still all operated through one consciousness. It is all manifested from one consciousness. Now, given that every physical body as a manifestation tool has a different output. Yes? Because if every physical body was the same and had the same output, again, you would not recognize, because it would all be the same. Again, if there is only light, yes, then there is no recognition of anything else other than light, and even light cannot be recognized. Yes? So it helps to understand that we are all one consciousness. And when body minds speak about unity consciousness, it is not that 3 billion different souls have to come together as one consciousness. No, it is one consciousness operating through 3 billion different bodies for the sake of gameplay. Yes? For the sake of having different experiences with different perspectives and different angles. Yes? So we do not have to come together as consciousness. We are already one whole consciousness that is perfect. Yes? It's just that many bodies, beings, humans, other beings do not have that awareness. Yes? That we are one. And hence we get these differences. Yes? And disagreements. And discrimination and judgment and bias. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to agree with everything that you perceive on your external world, even though it helps to understand that whatever you perceive out there is your own creation, comes from within you. Yes? Has nothing to do with other bodies, beings out there. Yes? It is your creation. Once that awareness sinks in, there is no more judging, there is no more bias, no more discrimination, because we understand and realize it is all us. It is all from within us. Yes? So trying to fix the perceived outside world, outside reality, really starts within. And I spoke about this before, so I don't want to go into too much detail there. But again, you do not have to agree with everything that you perceive out there or condone it. Tolerance and acceptance does not mean turning a blind eye. That's not what this is talking about. Tolerance and acceptance is holding space for self and perceived other beings as our own creation. Yes? And for accepting this creation, whether we like it or not, whether we agree with it or not, whether we like other beings or not, whether we agree with these other beings or their perceived actions. Yes? We don't have to agree with it. There's preferences. Yes? But if we can hold the space and have the acceptance that perceived other bodies, beings out there make different choices, have different perspectives according to whatever their body holds and believes. Yes? DNA, the experiences the perceived individual bodies have made. Yes? Which then guides their choices and actions, whether they're aware of it or not. Yes? In order to have a variety of different experiences. Because again, if we were all the same, if we would all agree on everything and do all the same and look all the same and talk all the same and whatever not, there would be no experience. Yes? You can only recognize yourself as a reflection in the mirror, your face. Yes? So this is what the light of awareness, energy, consciousness, God, creator, source, the universe, spirit, it's all labels. There is really no description of what this truly is. Yes? Because words are very limiting. Yes? And words are a concept of the mind. But if we can go within and hold that unconditional space and love and acceptance and tolerance for whatever we perceive to be going on out there, yes, recognizing and realizing that it comes from within, that it is our creation, again, whether we like it or not, whether we're aware of it or not, yes, it is still our creation. Yes. So there is no space then for judgment. There is no space for victim mentality, because there is no victim. Because we're experiencing what we are creating as an experience for ourselves. Yes? Whether we label that as a pleasant experience or unpleasant experience, that comes down to the human body. Yes? And for the physical body, there are definitely traumatic and unpleasant experiences. Yes, but it is still our creation. So once that realization is internalized, there is no room for judgment, for discrimination, for bias, for intolerance. Yes, because it is all our own stuff that we're dealing with, that then manifests on the outside unless we deal with it within. Yeah? And if we don't deal with it, then we get whatever we're putting out there back. So if you are somebody who's very judgmental, you will get the reflection from your perceived external world back that you are being judged. Yes? Or if you, for lack of better words, discriminate against others, which is part of judgment. It's all intolerance. Yes? The inability to accept what is. Again, this has nothing to do with turning a blind eye and just saying, oh, just do whatever. No. But the capability to hold space for what is perceivedly different. Yes? Because that's what we're here for, to experience what is different. So that we can then recognize ourselves or perceivedly find ourselves, or some people say we wake up. Now, there is nobody asleep here. This is just a construct of the mind that the awareness is asleep. Yes? Energy consciousness, the all that is and all that is not asleep, is always awake. But are you aware of it? Are you aware that you are that? Yes? Or are you holding the limiting beliefs that you are a small human that is powerless and is a victim of external circumstances that you created but you don't remember? Yes? I made a video about self-acceptance and self-love and conscious manifestation, the 2 different videos. And feel free to go look back at that. Also about discernment and what was the other one? How to be authentic. How to bring in your authentic self. There is only one authentic self, yes. But it comes through differently through every perceived physical body. Again, for the sake of this experience. Otherwise, we wouldn't have an experience. Yes? And this experience that we are having has so many different layers. And that's why so many different perceived bodies are out there. Yes? To have all kind of different experiences from different angles. Yes? Again, it's not just dark and light. It is many, many shades in between that are being experienced. Yes. Now I can see where the physical body definitely have preferences of being more comfortable and not having painful experiences. Yes. So it's difficult for the human body mind to comprehend why these experiences would even be out there. Yes. But again, it comes down to the output that is coming through the body. Also, if we do not reflect within and fix whatever issues we're holding within, whatever is going on in our internal world, then we will project that outwards and it will reflect back to us from the external, and then we will have to deal with it. Yes? Eventually, we will have to deal with it because that is the experience we are here for. To deal with differences. Yes? Not judging, but to acknowledge it and accept it. Again, that doesn't mean turning a blind eye or condoning whatever is going on the perceived external. That's not what this is saying. But the ability and capability to hold space for all that is. Yes? For the beginning and the end, and everything perceivedly in between. Yes? So, what really causes all this judgment and bias and discrimination and intolerance is fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of what is different, fear of what the human body mind cannot comprehend, yes, and that then reflects outwards and causes more fear and causes more distortion of whatever we perceive, yes. So to help with that, it helps to go within and know that there is nothing to fear, because everything that is out there is still us, is still our creation, yes. And once fear falls away, a lot of this bias and judgment and discrimination falls away, for the most part, yes. If the beliefs are being cleared, processed, cleared and released, that cause, judgment, bias. Fear affects our whole body, and it helps to process, clear and release whatever it is that we're fearing. Now that can be different for every physical body, because every physical body has a different makeup. But in general, there is a fear of the unknown. In most bodies, there is a fear of what is different. Yes, there is intolerance for beings, bodies, situations that are different, that are not the norm, what the mind perceives to be as the norm. Yes. And that too is an experience created to be had in order to reflect back, in order for consciousness to recognize itself. Again, you do not recognize the light if there is no darkness. Yes. But if we can recognize the light and accept that the darkness is there, without judgment, just holding space for what is, yes. That doesn't mean we have to condone it. That doesn't mean we have to turn a blind eye, yes. But just the acceptance that there are differences, and there are differences on purpose, for a reason, for the sake of this experience, yes. That really helps, and that brings awareness to perceived issues going on in the perceived external reality that can be healed with unconditional love, unconditional acceptance and tolerance. And once this is the output coming through the physical body, yes, these perceived issues will heal in the perceived external reality. Because once we heal ourselves, we heal our perceived external world. Yes. Again, that doesn't mean turning a blind eye. That doesn't mean I just do whatever now, because that's not what this is saying. Yes. But to be able and capable to hold space for other perceived beings, knowing that that is their experience for the sake of the experience, yes, instead of judging, instead of discriminating, yes. Once there is output of tolerance, the whole external experience will change into a more amicable experience for the perceived physical body. I hope that makes sense. Prevents the ability to hold space and to be intolerant of self and others, perceived others, including all attachments to people, places, situations. I mean, that it's like a cord cutting too, because when you process, clear, and release, that also clears attachments to certain people, certain places, certain situations, whatever memories we're holding, whatever beliefs we're holding, yes, whatever stories we're holding about the past, because there is no past, everything happens at once, and time is not linear either. Yes, that's how we can look back at certain situations and send loving awareness and acceptance to situations, to people, to places, whatever it is that has apparently affected us in the perceived past. Yes, the words are very limiting. So to sum it all up, the root for intolerance, judgment, bias, discrimination, all that goes along with this is really fear. Fear of the unknown. Fear of what is not comprehended by the human brain, mind, whatever you want to label it. Yes? And that then causes this distancing and this not wanting to accept what's different. Yes, again, we do not have to condone everything that's going out there, and we do not have to turn a blind eye. Yes, and we do not have to participate in what we perceive as not okay. Definitely not. Yes, it just takes the discernment to know what is acceptable for your physical body. Yes, in whatever any given situation. And then have the ability and capability to hold space for whatever you do not accept for yourself, but still accept the fact that other bodies make different choices. Yes, and I think that's pretty much to sum it all up. Accepting the fact that perceived other bodies out there that are still your creation. Yes, we're still only one consciousness that is living this whole show, this whole game, playing out dark and light. Yes, the alpha, the omega. There is no beginning, no end, because basically, yeah, we're all that is and all that is not. Yes, but in that sense, we are. Yeah, there is no beginning, no end. It's like a circle. Yes, that's why there is no continuous timeline. It's an experience of various different. It's very difficult to explain. But that's how perceived time travel is possible, because you can be, since you are all that is, yes, and time doesn't exist, and everything happens at once, you can be at any perceived moment in this perceived time. Yes. So, and affect, send loving awareness to situations you perceive to be unbeneficial, because again, the human body still has a preference. Yes, even though even once you have the awareness that every experience, whether we label it positive or negative, every experience is loved by spirit, creator, source, the universe, whatever, the human body still has a preference for more pleasant and comfortable experiences. Yes, and so you can affect past experiences by sending loving awareness and holding space for yourself and perceived others that participated in whatever experience that is. And you can shift out of these energies of victimhood and feeling that something is being done to you, not recognizing you're doing it to yourself. Yes, because a lot of body minds are really in their head. They're stuck in their head, stuck in their own memories of experiences, and those memories may be not even what actually happened. They may have gotten distorted. Yes, so once we can get out of our head and take it down to the heart level, yes, and bring in that unconditional love and acceptance, which is what tolerance is. Tolerance is unconditional love and acceptance, and the ability and capability to hold space. Yes, to be neutral and hold space. Yes, again, it doesn't mean that you condone everything, and it doesn't mean you're turning a blind eye. It's just you have the neutral vantage point of looking at everything and accepting that perceived other beings make different choices. Yes, because again, if we were all the same and would all have the same opinion, make all the same choices, and we would look all the same and do all the same and talk all the same, yes, we would just be a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy of a copy, and it would be rather boring. Yes, that's not what we're here for. So now, if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. And again, I have other videos out where I already touched on all of these subjects. All my videos are connected in one way or another, and they're interwoven. So it may help to look at previous videos in order to get more information, but I'm also happy to answer questions if there are questions, or if something needs more further explanation. Feel free to leave a comment. I would like to thank you for being present. I really appreciate it. And I hope that this brought some new perspectives, the ability to look at things from a different angle, perhaps, from a higher vantage point. The light in me recognizes that same light in you, for we are all one light, one consciousness, one light. I see you, I appreciate you, I honor you. So much love and blessings.